Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review the new horror film, It Lives Inside. And this is from writer-director Bishal Dutta, and focuses on an Indian-American teenager struggling with her cultural identity, has fallen out with her former best friend, in the process unwittingly releases a horrible demon, and this film, I think what elevates it the most is its commitment to really showing Indian culture, really embedding that in not only the story, but the conflict and the themes. Because this really is about an immigrant story. It's about, can you assimilate? Can you make connections? There's a lot of talk from this one teacher of color in the film about, hey, we stick together. And that's so important because this demon feeds off of loneliness. So it targets these immigrant characters because they don't fit in, and naturally they do have that isolation, and those layers add to this. And I think the themes and how this all resolves and what it takes to defeat this demon and to keep it at bay all are really representative of the struggle that it is of the other coming into a situation and trying to find connection and support. So all of that really works. It does deal with a lot of specific things in regards to how horror movies are represented. There's a big chunk of this movie that is really just exposition dump. Like, there's a good 20-minute stretch in late second act into third act that, like, yeah, this is all exposition. And it gets clunky a bit in terms of that. There's a lot of heavy lifting that needs to happen. At least Dutta tries to cross-cut edit with a thrilling horror sequence that really is effective to try to chop it up so it doesn't feel like you're just sitting there getting educated about, hey, look, we did some research on said demon. And, you know, that's a big horror trope. And so they do a good job of trying to avoid that, but it's still inevitable that they're spending a lot of time just chatting at you. I do like the characters here, and Sumita, who's played by Megan Suri, who's the main character, goes on a journey of, she's abandoned her best friend Tamira, played by Mohana Krishnan, who is already being tortured by this thing, and you can feel it, you can see it on her. The makeup job and everything, the hair, they do a good job of like showing that drain. But she's already assimilated with all the white kids at school, and there's a singular moment that causes something bad to happen to Tamara that really sets Sumita on her journey here. And it's an interesting journey. It's one of self-discovery. It's one of realizing why support and your culture are important. And those kinds of things do elevate horror. And you could get behind that. And Suri gives a strong performance. Krishnan gives a strong performance. Neera Pajwa, who plays Sumita's mother, she gives a strong performance. And Betty Gabriel, who plays the teacher at school, I think they all are real standouts here. Now it's the horror that really does work. This film in general avoids a lot of the jump scares and more is like that building just tension. There'll be, like, there's specific scares in this that are really effective. And they also have a really well-designed, really creepy and unnerving creature that's causing all of this mayhem. And they do a good job of slowly revealing it throughout the film, teasing it with its, like, long clawed fingers and all of those kinds of things to really build up that tension. And there's something deeply disturbing about so many of the sequences in this film when it comes to the horror. Sure, there's a few that seem a little obvious in terms of like horror, like you could see its footprints coming and like building the tension, but there's also like one subtlety of like holding a phone up and like turning and seeing something in the reflection of your phone, or there's one moment where casually opening up a door behind you is just like nothing came through. And you have moments like that that are really effective, and Dutta does a great job with the horror. Overall, this is a deep, resonant, well-acted, and legitimately scary film that overcomes some of those horror movie tropes and cliches to deliver a really affecting experience that I would highly recommend. But those are my thoughts on It Lives Inside. Let me know what you think, and let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.